Today, we're back on the A350 flight deck for the 11-hour run from Copenhagen to Bangkok, and we're going to see firsthand what the growing problem with GPS jamming and spoofing looks like for pilots, not only near Russia and Ukraine, but also over the Middle East, as we start feeling the effects over Poland and don't regain normal satellite connections until we reach the Persian Gulf. Apart from that, we've got a video full of amazing A350 cockpit technology, beautiful views from these massive windows, and more. Which is more beautiful, the flight deck lights or the sunrise? I can't quite decide. Tonight is an extra special one because we're going to be flying from Copenhagen to Bangkok on the A350, and I'm going to be in the jump seat. A350 cockpit ride on a long haul is a very special experience indeed. Only my second one ever, third cockpit flight that I've done for this channel on the A350, but one of them was a intra-European flight on Lufthansa, the first one I did. All of them very popular. I'm not surprised because the 350 is just a marvel to behold in every aspect, from the passenger experience to just looking at it outside, and then especially to see what an amazing piece of technology this is up in the cockpit, how it flies. I mean, just such a cool experience to get to do this. So we're going to be headed out to Bangkok, close to a midnight departure. It's one of these late night flights, so I've got to keep the energy up. Of course, the A350 makes it easier since it's so exciting just to fly on for an av geek like me and like many of you, no doubt. So let's go see when SAS is going to let me on board, hopefully a little bit early. Let's go do some A350 flying. While I wait to get onto the flight deck, here's a look at business class. We've got 3 pilots on this flight, including 1 relief pilot, so that the 3 can rotate, taking short rests throughout this long overnight flight.
Yes, det såg jag. Yep. Jamen, let the fun begin her. Mike 602 Penet. Stark Vinka. Advat. Kelel. Keket. Bador. Arges. Artat. Upper Papa 975. Echo Zulu Sierra. Betno. Papa 646 Tared. Direct Villa. Date of flight 240318. Registration Romeo Sierra Fox checked.
Okay. Vi fik startet etteren, du må gerne i luften, og så tager vi lige strømmen af. Det er da vigtigt.
Ja,
jeg løfter først, og så tager vi strømmen af. Ja, tak.
Ja, vi skal jo have den af, jo. Så.
Ja, sådan der, ikke? Skal der ikke noget.
Så tjekker vi, at der står del, ikke?
Yes.
Så ses vi deroppe. Vi ses i luften.
God tur. Tak, hej.
From Scandinavian 973, requesting taxi. Scandinavian 973, taxi Romeo Bravo, shuttle 30. Romeo Bravo, shuttle 30, Scandinavian 973.
I take a seat over in the second jump seat on the left-hand side for takeoff. It actually gives a really nice view because of these big windows in front and to the side. It's quite a cool perspective.
973, 11858, bye-bye.
1858, Scandinavian 973,
Push up. 304 right, take off with 13 shuttle, please, 12 knots.
Take off 04 right for Scandinavian 973. Take off. Not on clear right. Clear left, line up checklist. Line up checklist, take off one way. 4 right, route 1. 4 right for length, checked. Pack 1 and 2. Off. Checklist complete.
Souls on board 299.
299, yeah.
And all checks complete, so I'm happy.
Good.
Golf 2, runway 30 on short 04 right, boss 1487.
Gabriel, are you ready?
Yeah, he's ready.
Take you to Charlie behind the departing heavy from full length, line up 4 right, wait behind.
Force taking to Charlie behind the next departing aircraft, line up and wait, runway 04 right behind.
Apex SAS, thrust blue, checked. Thrust set. One other knots checked.
V1.
Rotate. Positive right. Kira. Kira. Checked.
Pilot 73, good. After identified and turn right, direct to Salo, flight level 19 Salo with free speed.
Free speed, right direct to Salo and flight level 19 Salo for Scandinavian 972. Check. Skal vi tage noget?
Scandinavian 973, climb level 350.
Climb level 350, Scandinavian 973.
350 blue. Check.
The double from Scandinavian 973 Heavy, we are inbound Kiel, crossing flight level 210, climbing 350.
Scandinavian 973, 78
Du har kaffe, Claus? Ja. Lad mig lige få
Right down, Rob.
til i går. Jeg har også sådan lidt rødt vand. Ja. Så
Did you know that while many pilots use Flight Radar 24 on an unofficial basis, which is to say it helps their awareness but it's not an official flight deck tool, at SAS the app is actually whitelisted.
But we use it. You know this, yeah? So they whitelisted it.
Okay.
There are a certain number of applications or apps that we can do, and this is one of them. So when now we're at level, right? It's flying straight and level. I use it just to, get a picture of who's around us. And sometimes you can call them on frequencies and ask them about turbulence or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice, especially going to the United States or something like that.
Yeah.
And then if you want to know what landing directions they use at certain airports, it's also very nice.
Yes.
It's a nice tool. So now we're in Poland, and then it's Hungary, and then it's Romania and Bulgaria, and then we come down to Turkey, and it takes us southeastbound, and then we fly into Baghdad area. So Iraq, we're allowed to fly there, not Iran but Iraq. It's okay, and not below flight level 320. So that's a restriction we have. So the challenge on this route is like the jamming and the spoofing, but we know how to deal with that now. And it's also going on there. So, and you'll see later on when we come close to Ukraine, a lot of our systems will fall out, and they'll just, we still have the inertial reference system that helps us, but the GPSs, they disappear. We have some procedures that we can use. The things that go offline will be the GPS, and then the time will perhaps be wrong. And the worst thing about this is the spoofing. So because of the jamming, the airplane may think it's a different place than where it is.
Right.
So, and then it could give us some failures that we have to handle. Basically, it could tell us that we're flying into a mountain, at this altitude, which is not logical, but it has happened.
Wow.
And we're trained to avoid, so we have certain procedures that are instincts, but we have to brief each other that it's not logical, it's not happening, so we just omit the procedure that we used to do.
Is that every time? When you
Every
press
time,
brake in?
yeah. That also happens in the northern part of Norway, and actually sometimes going close to Kaliningrad, you know, that's also Russia.
Wow.
Okay, so through Baghdad, we come down to Bahrain, Qatar, we overfly Dubai, and then Oman, and then we come into India. And there's a lot of noise on the radio. Communication is a hard one there. And then it takes us to Myanmar, and then finally we're in Bangkok.
Okay. Nice.
So that's the routing. Yeah, that's the routing we take now. So, and it's like 1.5 hours longer than the old one that took it through Afghanistan and all that.
Bratislava, good hearing from Scandinavian 973 heavy, flight level 35, soaring 1 kilo.
Scandinavian 973, good morning. Can you contact direct to Badr?
Direct to Badr for Scandinavian 973, good morning. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite airplane that you ever flew?
This one.
Yeah.
That's us.
Okay. Pretty subtle little.
You know that little circle there?
Yeah.
We're a little off the track. That's the initial track, but we had a shortcut, so we're a little off the route now,
Okay.
which is intentionally. And if we're lost, we use flight radar 24.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, Ox. Another shortcut.
A number of these pilots do a mix of flying on the A350 and the A320, switching between occasional long-haul trips and more frequent short-haul. They say it's nice to have that mix.
This is almost like a 320, except this one. All the screens, it's different.
Yeah.
But when it flies like a small Airbus. It's the setup, it's the pre-start, as I told you. It's all the way we work together. We have to, you know, work much closer together than on the small one. You can do it. You can set it up in 10 minutes and be ready. This one, it takes 45 minutes to be ready. The flight controls on this one, they're super. I mean, they're so responsive, and you know, it trims itself. You just put the pitch in and it trims, and you can leave. You can just hands off and it continues flying. For landing, it's you start the derotation a little earlier than on a 320. It has more mass. It's heavier.
Yeah.
So you you do the derotation, the flare we call it, a little earlier, like 40 feet. 40 you sort of start introducing the flare. On a 320 it's 20 feet. If we have an engine failure on takeoff, the initial pitch here is 10 degrees. It's not 9, it's not 11, it's 10. And it keeps you flying, you're safe. On a 320 it's 12.5 degrees. Things like that, it's important to remember. That's what we train in the simulator. Flying two different types. We go to the simulator every 3 months. This one is now offline, and the other one is struggling. But it's gonna disappear as well.
As we begin to feel the effects of the GPS jamming, we'll see the affected systems show up on this list in orange. First to go is the RNP, or Required Navigation Performance.
Well, it's not that important because we're not allowed to on this aircraft. We don't use that system. But now, this is just the first one of them. And there's going to be more now. What we'll probably do in a short while, we'll switch off 2 systems. And then continue with what we have. And the navigation is still super precise. It's not a problem. It's only a problem if you are going to land somewhere. You cannot use those systems. So you cannot do GPS approaches. For en route navigation, it's not a problem. We use this system, right? The IRS, the inertial reference system, this one. That's super reliable. It's what we used to have before GPS. GPS is just extra, but it will disappear. You can see now the Black Sea here. Yeah. And Ukraine is up here, Crimea. So we just beam it now. We are flying at 35,000 feet, flight level 350. Now it says here optimum, OPT, optimum, is 370. You know about this. Skal vi prøve at spørge? Ja. The best here. Show us how. See me up here.
Scandinavian 973. Contact Sofia on 1347 and request higher from them. Goodbye.
We'll contact Sofia on 1347 to pose our request. Scandinavian 973. Goodbye.
Not in use. They don't use CBDLT down here.
Sofia, good morning from Scandinavian 973, flight level 350. We're inbound outside, requesting climb flight level 370.
Scandinavian 973, Sofia identified. Flight level 370.
Climb flight level 370, Scandinavian 973.
370 blue.
GPS jamming and spoofing has ramped up along this route in the past few years, and especially since last year. It's often difficult to know exactly where it's coming from and for what purpose, but a large proportion of what we get today is from Russia, likely used with the aim of confusing military aircraft in the area, especially drones. Nowadays, there is quite a bit of that, like the captain mentioned, over the Middle East, especially along the border between Iraq and Iran. That means we'll fly with degraded satellite connections to varying degrees for a number of hours. And that's routine in this part of the world now. That is a sad fact because it does remove layers of situational awareness for commercial pilots, but it also means it's something they are accustomed to, that they brief for, and they have protocols for how to deal with it. Time to swap posts so the captain has a chance to rest. They'll keep doing this throughout the flight at regular intervals.
Change of box. See you later.
Several more failures have appeared due to the GPS jamming. The pilots check them, confirming that all is still fine with the flight, and move on.
Remoting status. Information complete.
Turning off the terrain warning system, just because now we got so many of these jamming problems that we want to be sure that we don't get this terrain warning starting to scream in the middle of the night. It's really annoying. Like now we have no satellites at all. All the satellites are gone. So when we see that the satellites are coming back, and then we can turn it back on again. Check. Off confirm. Yeah. But the aircraft is still very good at the keeping, of course, the position. So we're still very high on accuracy on navigation without the satellites.
The time is wrong. I'm just going to ask for a time check. I got Scandinavian 973.
Yes,
yeah, could you just provide us with a time check? 0126, copy. Scandinavian 973, thanks.
0126.
Yeah, precis.
As you can see now, the time is 1:30. So even the jamming now makes the clock go be wrong. Vi kan vända den, va?
Ja, det checkar jag.
0126. Ja, det är samma som är på iPaden. Ja. Ja, precis. Jag såg det också.
It's approach capability downgraded. Clear and auto flight.
Clear auto flight.
Nav Genesis 14 once again. Clear nav.
Clear now. Nu försvann den ena, eller försvann, kom tillbaka igen, men så remove status.
Removing status. Information complete.
I was sitting here one day and I saw the clock going backwards, and I can understand that it makes sense if you shoot a missile or kind of these drones, and it's whatever system they have for navigation, that you count on the time and the speed when to hit somewhere, and the clock is not right, then I can understand that you will miss your target. And now it's also for the passengers, they have probably lost their internet now due to that the fact that the system doesn't know where we are. And to be able to have that system in progress, you have to know, or the system have to know, where are we, which country are we flying over. I don't really know how they kind of adjust their jamming, but it's not like it's fixed positions where it starts, where it ends. Absolutely not. It's kind of floating from, and it difference every time. On this screen here, so then you have you can have the terrain elevation.
Yeah.
So the radar is still kind of working, of course, but the terrain map is not.
Good morning from Scandinavian 973 Heavy, flight level 370, about an hour.
Good morning at A350 X3, level 30 approaching cabin.
We get our first glimpse of daylight after around 4 hours in flight, somewhere between Turkey and Iraq.
973, we are starting to pick up light chapter, flight level 370. You have any reports further ahead, and also at flight level 39, sir?
Scandinavian 973 over Sierra Romeo Tango 30 light moderate turbulence. And 400 after Sierra Romeo Tango turbulence. Report about 37039.
Flight level 390 blue.
Yeah.
Hallå. Det gör vi, du får science och jag ska precis klättra upp en så att vi förhoppningsvis kommer ut. Du får science.
Hej då.
Sometimes we can sit here and we can have our coffee without any problems at all, and they can hardly stand back there.
Wow.
So I really respect when they call, and we also like on the briefings before the flight, always tell them, just call us, because we have absolutely no idea how bad the turbulence is and what they are doing. Now we know that by the time phase that okay, all the service for the food is now it's finished, and of course it's also big concern for them if we interrupt their service in the middle of the meals and we turn on the seatbelt signs. But it's kind of their decision in that point of view, and especially in the back.
Contact box 7210.
7210 on the spot for Scandinavian 973.
You are control?
Yeah.
And now all the turbulence is your problem.
Yeah, I have control.
You have control.
Enjoy.
You will sleep well?
Yeah.
Yes. Så det var? Så jag har bara gjort en sån reminder för terrain. Nej, precis. Det stod bara någon sån note där på notan så att jag vet inte visst det är bara för statistics om du vill ha reda på det eller om du visst det är någon annan. Ville bara imponera och visa det att jag hade läst.
Lufthansa 779 and let's turn direct to Copenhagen.
As we bounce around up here quite a bit at 39,000 feet, we hear quite a few aircraft reporting continuous moderate turbulence at lower flight levels. That's one very nice thing about being on the A350, that in many cases we can climb higher earlier to avoid the worst of that kind of thing.
Moderate, for the moment it's quite smooth, but we are absolutely at the top of the clouds.
That's covered. We have a heavy at 370.
Then the ride is better at 39 at least.
Yeah, but it's not so heavy.
Salam alaikum, Bangkok Scandinavian 973 heavy inbound CC flight number 390.
Scandinavian Airlines Sleeper control.
Stefan får inte sovit någonting.
Wow. Here comes the sunlight.
Scandinavian 973 heavy maintaining flight number 410 inbound Bangkok.
Scandinavian 973 Kolkata control report estimate Sagod.
Sagod time 0826 Scandinavian 973 correction 08. Thank you.
Nej, jeg må jo ikke. Nej, det er fint.
Radar Scandinavian 973 heavy.
Scandinavian 973 heavy radar identified report level.
Maintaining flight level 410 Scandinavian 973.
What if we don't get it?
The pace you have doing things on the long haul fleet and the short haul is completely different.
Yeah.
So initially, what I was kind of told is that you really have to sit in your hands a little bit because otherwise you will run ahead your colleague. So and that's really true. So you really have to, just go, okay, take it slow because otherwise you just run in the same pace you have on a short haul flight, and that's kind of too fast.
Yeah.
And here we're never kind of stressed because when you do the short haul flights, you have 5 flights a day. You chase the timetable schedule all day. You run between gates, you change aircraft, you always short turnarounds, a lot of passengers going in and out, and you make the walkarounds and you take care of the fueling and everything. So you're always all the time just chasing, and you get really tired. But here when you check in and you come to the aircraft, you're served a little bit better, so to say, with taking care of the fuel and the the checks before the flight, then you have a lot of time. So it's much more relaxed in one way. Then you get tired of this constant jet lag you have, but that's another issue. Yangon Scandinavian 973 heavy, flight number 410, position Saigon. Yangon Scandinavian 973, Scandinavian 973 heavy.
Yeah, 973, radar contact level bad no.
Say the point again, Scandinavian 973, we are now inbound Papa Tango November.
Papa Tango November.
Oh. Please help us.
Scandinavian 973, we are proceeding Papa Tango November. Estimate Papa Tango November 0845.
Roger, copy, over Papa Tango November.
Call Papa Tango November, Scandinavian 973.
Echo. So now we know. I gamle dage, der holdt vi herinde i gaten.
Ja, det er din kopi, jeg har fjernet der.
Ja, det er meget fint. There are some big weather systems over Thailand with tops at 50,000 feet, but they're isolated enough that they're easy to fly around.
Scandinavian 973, deviation approved, contact Bangkok 120, document 905.
Deviation approved and to Bangkok 12095, Scandinavian 973. Bangkok, good afternoon from Scandinavian 973, heavy flight level 410. We are picking up heading 140 to avoid below.
Scandinavian 973, back on throw and contact heading 140 approved.
Scandinavian 973, final descent to 6,000 feet, reduced to 20 knots.
Descent 6,000 feet and confirm 20 knots for Scandinavian 973.
Affirm.
Thank you.
Scandinavian 973, descent to 5,000 feet, no restriction.
When you descend 5,000 feet, Scandinavian 973.
No restriction,
Bangkok
5,000
Airport
knots.
40. Scandinavian 973, turn right heading 100 and descend to 4,000 feet.
Descend 4,000 feet, right heading 100, Scandinavian 973.
4,000.
April.
Forward S2, Thai 111 for the car.
Yeah. Scandinavian 973, descend to 2,000 feet, turn right heading 160, clear ILS to approach runway 19 left.
Thank you, righting 160, descend 2,000 feet and clear the ILS Zulu approach for 19 left, Scandinavian 973.
Heading 160, clear approach.
Sky
Glass on blue,
146, speed
check
180 knots, keep until
1 and
10 miles,
2,
final,
approach
then 160 knots until
clear
6
below,
miles.
glide plus.
April.
Roger.
Scandinavian 973, speed 180.
Speed 180, Scandinavian 973.
Someone, speed checked. Get ready. Checked.
Thai 643, approaching Echo
AC43 turn left heading to A0.
Left heading to A0, Thai 643. Yeah, 4712, clear weather.
4712 turn left heading 010. Scandinavian 973 speed 160 knots, skin till 6 miles final.
Reduce 160 maintain to 6 miles, Scandinavian 972.
2,500.
Bravo 8 and Bravo, Alaska 116, Thai 111.
Checks.
Alaska 146, wind 18 degrees, 15 knots, runway 19 left, clear to land. Clear runway 19 left, 146.
Left 3, speed checks. Left 4, speed checks. For landing checklists. Yes, cabin. Ready. Checklist completed. Watch me. Checks.
1,000.
Yeah, we were stabilized with it as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Alaska 146, and right, Bravo 8 and Bravo, and the ground 12165. Right, Bravo 8 and Bravo 12165. Ja, 146 konkurrent, ikke?
Altså ikke. Hold lige inden for 10 på 500. Tak.
Scandinavian 973, wind 18 degrees, 14 knots, runway 19 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, 19 left, Scandinavian 972.
Clear land. Checked. Speed. Checked.
500.
Stabilized. Happy, Patrick?
I'm happy. All good.
Jeg holder lige øje med BTV'en der, men der står stadig BTV på.
Ja, nu tror jeg på det fungerer.
Ja.
100 above.
Speed. Heller det. Ja, ja. Det er meget fint.
Minimum.
Continue. Checked. Vinden er steady fra 160 to 170 degrees. 15 knots, ja.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10.
4, 3, 2, 1. Smart. Spoilers. Reverse the screen. BTV to decel.
Scandinavian 973, turn right to taxiway Bravo and Infinite vacant runway.
Right turn, taxiway Bravo. Scandinavian 972.
Det ekspediterer så godt.
Ja, turning right on taxiway Bravo.
Scandinavian 973 Sonapum ground taxiway Bravo Charlie 9er Charlie hold short off Tango 18.
Bravo, Charlie 9, Charlie, and hold short of Tango 18. Scandinavian 972.
Då tror jag det blir satellite.
Ja.
Jeg går ud fra
Check.
igen på den, hvor der står her.
Lights on.
Bravo Charlie 7 Hotel hold short off Hotel 2.
Bravo Charlie 7 Hotel, hold short of Hotel 2, Thai 613.
Ja, okay.
What a lovely flight as always on the A350. Long one. Managed to sleep a few hours in the middle. That seems to be the working formula for me. These long hauls, spend most of it in the cockpit, but take a little time to rest in between, because otherwise it's tough on these overnights. And these pilots, as ever, fantastic, hospitable, nice to chat to. And we saw a lot of interesting things. Coming into Bangkok, my first time in the flight deck doing that, and some nice weather to dodge on the way in too. So wonderful experience with SAS, the A350. What can you say? It's majestic, as we already knew. In Bangkok, for Flight Radar 24, I'm Gabriel Lee.